Hey everybody, it's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. Thank you so much for joining us. And while we wait for people to join us live, I just want to speak to anyone that's watching the replay here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. That way you get all of our future videos as well as other content from fantastic real estate coaches. And then if you prefer the audio version, just nestled right here between your ears, head on over to iTunes or Stitcher and subscribe there. Now we're talking about HomeBuzz. We've got the founder of that particular app with us today. But I want to bring in first the co-pilot, the junior grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel. Greg, what's up today?
Matt, what is happening, my friend? You know what? I feel like I have not talked to you forever. I mean, we have not talked for like 4 days. I mean, the world almost came to a crashing, horrible end. But
that's right. We took a holiday break and then talked for 2 hours this morning.
We did. And we're both sitting there going, blah, blah, blah. We were yakety-schmacking, telling stories back and forth. But I got to tell you one thing. Dude, the holiday cheer has caught up with me. I'm jiggling in places I should not be jiggling, and I cannot wait to get back to a normal workout schedule, because when you get that kind of like, when you sit down, you're like, wait a minute, what is that funny feel? Oh, that's a roll. I don't like that at all. So, yeah, I'm glad that the holidays are coming to a near end, but I hope everyone had a beautiful holiday season. Matt and I were laughing endlessly about the ordeals Matt has gone through. And we will not air those, but they are hilarious.
That's right. Needless to say, this door that so lovely sits behind me here, I had to break down the other night just to get into it. It somehow got locked while I was out of town and shut. Locked and shut. And despite my best efforts to the contrary and the assistance of lifehacker.com, I was unable to pick the lock to this particular door.
He just said, screw it, and you kicked the door. And it was kind of like when I was sitting at dinner, and my grandfather, who's 90 years old, is on his iPhone yelling at Siri to give us updates on the Warriors game. Siri's at full blast, giving us every 10 seconds updates. My aunt, who is a gourmet chef, is pissed that he's doing this in the middle of dinner. Then to break that up, what does she do? Keep in mind, we have family, alcohol involved here, okay? She's like, so what does everybody think about gun ownership? Well, that took over the dinner.
Just a little light dinner conversation.
Yeah, light conversation, but nothing tops the next one of like, so what do you guys think about the Republican Party this year? I'm like, shit.
That's a tough one.
That's when I just mentally shut off. I was getting abused verbally all around me because everyone was giving their opinion, and it was like barfing all over each other. And I was just like, you know what, screw this shit. Back to my pool game, and I'm out. So
that's right. Well, let's before we get into a question, Greg, you want to introduce our special guest? That way he can comment on our question as well, and we'll get into it.
Actually, absolutely, I would. Guys, this is Kristian. He and I were introduced by a gentleman by the name of Rod. They both are in San Diego. And Kristian's been an agent for how many years?
About 20 years now.
20 years now, and his app, the reason why I lit up like a Roman candle when I heard about it is because I was just talking to Rod about doing exactly what Kristian has already set up and done, but mine is going to be totally rudimentary, and I love this app, you guys. So, I'm going to Kristian, you tell us a little bit about it, because I'm probably going to screw this up because I'm not solely versed in it, but, I mean, help us out a little bit. Give us a 10-second little bio on this thing.
Sure, love to, Greg. So the app is basically a Yelp for homes. It allows real estate agents and consumers to check into homes, review them, estimate the value, leave feedback, that type of thing. But also what happens is when the home sells, it ranks everybody according to who is closest to the actual sales price. So you can see who's been into the most homes in your area. You can see what kind of reviews and feedback they're leaving. And then also, too, you can see who's actually the most accurate person. So it allows real estate professionals to actually go out and rate themselves by how active they are in their communities, how active they are in their farm, and actually what they're doing. There's been plenty of feedback about reviews and I need to get my Yelp reviews up, or I need to get my Zillow reviews up, or I need to look better on Trulia or Redfin. When really all that we know that's friends and family banter that's going back and forth and giving us all 5 stars. What I really wanted to do is have a way for people to actually see how active you are and how good you are at valuing a property. When a buyer walks into a property, he wants to know, is this really worth $500,000? And when a seller's selling their property, they want to know, how much can you get me? And not, don't give me a pie in the sky number just to get the listing. I want to know actually what my home's going to sell for. So we created HomeBuzz to kind of take care of those two things.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, which actually leads very well into the question which I picked out. I've got a few of them here, but this particular one stood out to me because it really dovetails with what you're doing, Kristian. So this is from the Lead Gen Scription Objections Facebook group. If you're not a member already, it's a fantastic group. Me and Greg are members there, started by our friend Aaron Wittenstein. It's facebook.com/group/gotobjections. And Loretta Rivera asks, just hung up with an expired, and his objection is that he doesn't feel that my firm is very strong in his particular neighborhood, specifically that he doesn't see a lot of our signs. And the handling technique would be, so what do you say to that, Greg?
Shit, sorry, I joined the wrong brokerage. Realistically, I mean, the way you would really want to counter that with, you would probably, if you don't see a lot of the signs, but you're representing a lot of the buyers, if you have a large buyer pool that's coming into that neighborhood, then you can leverage off of that and say, look, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, I understand you haven't seen a lot of the signs, and that's actually a benefit for us. What we do is that we work primarily with a lot of the buyers that are coming from another part of town that are buying into this area. And as you know, this is a beautiful part of town, and it's very desirable. So there's a good probability that I may already have your next buyer already in tow. Another thing, if you know you're going to be weak and you're going to walk into a situation like this, let's say you were with Bob's Realty and you got one person, going up against, I don't know, a national brand like Remax or Century 21 or KW, something big like that. What you can do is you go into Facebook, and we'll get into this on another episode. Go into Facebook, and you can build your perfect avatar for that home based upon demographics, and geographics. It's like, what's the best buyer look like for that house? Married couple, 1 to 3 kids, 28 to 42. Work in the tech business, whatever. Go into Facebook and you make all these selections, and it will whittle down within a however large a radius of how many people would be the best candidates for that home. And then you can walk in and say, and by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've already done some pre-work on this, and what I found is that there's 12,392 people that would be the best probable buyers that are living here in the area. Now, that would blow me away as a seller if someone had done the research ahead of time and then countered my objection with, hey, look, yeah, but we represent the buy sides predominantly, and yeah, I want to break into your marketplace as a listing agent. I totally get it, but what does a seller really want, guys? They don't want to be on the market for 120 days and do multiple open houses and have multiple brokers tours and have hundreds of people tramp through their house and ruin their nice white carpet and let the dog out. What they really want to do is they just want to sell the damn house. So show them the solution, and it will overcome that objection.
I like
Definitely.
that.
Also, too, on those same lines, it'd be great to, when you're sitting there at that listing presentation, to pull open your iPhone or your Android and say, hey, look, I may not have a lot of signs in this area, but I've checked into 16 homes in this area. I've reviewed them all. I've seen all of the listings that are currently on the market, as you can see here. I know that this home is not as nice as yours. I know that this home is a little bit nicer. Yours is probably going to sell right in between there, and you can demonstrate all of that industry knowledge directly to that seller and be able to separate yourself from the competition that way as well, instead of saying, hey, yeah, you're right, I don't have any signs, and we usually don't work in that neighborhood. Why not show up a little bit earlier, a day earlier, and tour all the homes in the area, see what's available, show the inventory to the seller, and then be able to justify your expertise that way as well.
Very, very good idea. Actually, what I first did when I was first in real estate with my father, I would be going on listing appointments. I was just a fly on the wall. I didn't talk at all. And my father made very clear that I did not speak in front of public, especially clients, because God knows what was going to come out of my fucking mouth. Oops, I did it again. But no, seriously, what we do is we'd show up like 30 minutes early to listing appointments. We just drive the neighborhood. Get an idea of what's going on, the condition of the area, anything that's just so you can talk like, well, yeah, your neighbor, on the other street down the road, they're pending, and you just talk with knowledge. So, Kristian, I think that what you're talking about with your app, and then going old school a little bit, combining those two, the high tech and high touch, beautiful way to just segue out of that potential objection.
Yeah, absolutely, love it. Cool. Well, Greg, do you have any shout-outs you'd like to give real quick?
Holy shit, dude. Yeah.
You've been talking to a lot of people like over the holiday season and setting up some calls, so
I have, and it's been so much fun. I'm super touched that you guys reach out and take the McDaniel challenge. I really, really enjoy it, and I actually am starting to do like spontaneous calls. It's I love it. Matt thinks that I need to make sure I stick to a schedule, and because Matt's a very scheduled-oriented person, I'm like, screw the schedule. Yeah, you want to talk? I'll talk with you. Okay, so here we go. Stay with me. Actually, multiple different sources now, and I'm really thankful for this. So here we go. On the phone, Luz, shit, I know I'm gonna screw that up. From Florida, really cool to talk with you. Glad you got my announcement letter that you're going to send out to everybody. I know you're going to really do well out there, so please stay in touch like you said. I want to know how it goes and how you're going to leverage that construction aspect, okay? John Richmond, big pimpin' player. Hey, buddy, great talking with you yesterday. Matt's shaking his head like, why does he say this? But great talking with you yesterday. I really enjoyed it, and we look forward to connecting with your daughter, potential guest on the show, talking about how she's just crushing it in her business. Rod, really good talking with you, man. He and I are really starting to talk a lot. Also, we did a blab the other day. Then another guy named Jason joined. Which you guys go to my Facebook page. If we're not friends, friend me on Facebook. Just Greg McDaniel, you'll find me. I'm holding a young child upside down. It's really hard to miss.
Safety first, as always, Greg. Just holding them up by the. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, their parents were standing there. They didn't care. So I'm like,
all right.
But go there. You'll see a blab that we did. Watch it. It will blow your friggin' mind on what you can do with Instagram and Twitter for free and break into markets. But we'll talk about that more whenever we're out on the show. Trey, always good talking with you, man. Really enjoy our conversations. Patrick D, what up, buddy? Hey, enjoyed getting coffee with you at Starbucks, and I look forward to getting you in the office and maybe thinking about that transition you're considering. But I really appreciate getting some time with you. Tyler, thanks for making the awesome video, dude. That was so cool, and you're right. Cool. Do not make me spend a night alone.
That's right. Hashtag don't make Greg spend a night alone.
Hashtag don't let Greg spend a night alone.
That was great. Tyler, that video made my Christmas, by the way. That was fantastic.
Yeah, man. Oh, and if anyone else wants to brighten our days, we accept videos.
That's right.
Saying good things, not bad things. Okay, on YouTube, LA Home Guy. Hey, buddy, I sent you the reply to your comment. Thank you. I'm glad that you like my shirts. Appreciate that. I sent you my tailor's name and information so that you can reach out to her and get them done up for yourself. And I'm really glad that you like the information as well. Also, Kennedy Group Real Estate LLC. Thank you for the kind words. We're really thankful that all the information that we're giving out to you guys is really helping. Please keep watching the videos. We always got something crazy coming down, out of our sleeves, and so we're just thankful that you're there. LinkedIn, Tony, awesome comments, man. I'm really appreciate that you're liking the posts that we're putting in there and that you're following and watching our videos and they're helping. So anyone else is watching our stuff on LinkedIn, I appreciate you guys just interacting with it. It's awesome. Alistair, get your ass on the freaking phone call with me and let's set up a time to meet. I'm tired of this. He's a friend of mine, so I can talk to him like that.
Okay, all right.
Everyone's like, whoa, intensity down, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course...
Hashtag dial it down.
Are you just going to do hashtags all day? Hashtag Greg, shut up. Yeah. Hashtag let's move on. Hashtag, God damn it. Right. And then Blab, Rod and Jason. Again, guys, thank you. We're going to start doing them more and more. We're going to do them every week. And find us, guys. I don't know what day we're going to do them. We'll announce it. But it's going to go high-tech on some of the stuff, and we'll show you how to market into a marketplace without spending any money or maybe even $50 or $100 a month, and you're going to get a lot of interaction. So,
nice.
Ooh,
goodness.
Isn't that fun? Yeah, don't you feel the love coming out of that?
Well, except for Alistair. I don't think he can. But yeah, let me give a quick shout out to our lovely and talented sponsors, and then we'll talk more with Kristian about the app. So number one, Viral Marketing. Just want to thank them real quick for writing a check with cold hard cash to make hangouts and podcasts like these happen. If you're looking for help marketing to your database to get more referral and repeat business, just go check them out, getviral.com. And then Equity, as always, online buyer lead generation platform that's built from the ground up for solo agents. So it's the perfect number of leads for you to work consistently. Just take the McDaniel Challenge, get a hold of Greg, and he can let you know kind of what's available in your area, if it and when it's available, and if so, he will hook you up with Pierce that runs that and get you started on that. So with that said,
we know what we forgot.
The McDaniel Challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is, guys. Everyone's like, what the blank is a McDaniel challenge? Guys, the McDaniel challenge is I challenge you to pick up your phone and call me on my personal cell or text me. And that number is 925-915-1978. So that's 925-915-1978. And I want to schedule you for a free 1 hour, probably 1.5 hours, because I just get on my soapbox and go, free private coaching session. Any day of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of any week from 6 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're starting to book into next year a little bit, guys, but take the McDaniel Challenge. Don't let Greg spend a night alone. If that starts trending, dude, I will laugh my ass off.
And if you're listening to this audio at the gym or while you're working and you can't write down that phone number, just go to McDanielChallenge.com.
Oh, yeah, and equity is with 2 Qs, guys. Equity with 2Qs.com. Pierce has put a lot more information on that site so you can learn more about it. So cool. Awesome. I will shut up and let you get on with this.
Okay, cool. So, Kristian, give us a little bit better idea of your background. So we talked a little bit before we went live, just your experience in the real estate industry, but take us through that experience and kind of how that led into building the app and why it was built.
Sure, happy to. So I've been in real estate now for about 20 years, full-time for about 15 or so. I got into the industry as a broker in 2002, and was basically the way that I worked in the past was through We Buy Homes. I'm a real estate investor at heart. I've been buying and selling properties since 1994. That was basically the foreclosure boom before it happened the last time in 2007. 1993, 4, 5 were a great time to buy homes, so I was out buying stuff. In 2006, when things started to slow down a lot, I got into the REO game. I started to talk to banks and Fannie and Freddie and started to build relationships on that side of the real estate gamut, and started to work with all the big players that were out there. By 2008, we had about 600 listings in San Diego, and in 2009, we were the #1 team in all of Keller Williams. We sold about 900 homes, had about 140 million in gross commissions. So I mean, it was a big, huge year. We went from about 75 sales in 2005 to almost 900 in 2009. So it was an insane amount of growth. I wasn't ready for it. I don't think anybody was ready for it.
Yeah, I can't imagine why.
Yeah. So absolutely nuts time. And so it really got me thinking about systems and processes and people and how to put everything in place. And there's a lot of good sources for information out there, and there's a lot of good coaches that can help you get from point A to point B, but there's nothing better than a real life experience to get you kick in the butt to say, oh my God, we were ready in 2010 to start selling 1,200 to 15 homes a year, but that's when they kind of throttled everything back, as you remember, and banks started to get they stopped foreclosing basically in California. So we started to slowly dwindle down. Then 2012, 2013 got into this app, started rebuilding our real estate investment portfolio, and we've been investing, and I've been building the app since about 2013. So it's been about 2.5 years or so. But one of the things that I've looked at as an investor is now I buy and sell homes all over the country, and it was really hard for me to find a real estate agent that I could trust, that I could get a value from. Perfect example is I bought a home through a bankruptcy up in Santa Cruz, and I knew it was a great value. I just didn't know how good of a value it was. So I emailed out 15 agents up in the area. I don't know much about Santa Cruz, and I said, hey, how much is this home worth? And they said, well, I got 12 opinions of value back, and they ranged anywhere from $925,000 to $1.7 million. And I was like, holy cow, it's just like, who do I believe, the $925,000 guy who I know I'm going to get multiple offers on and sell the home, or the $1.7 million guy who's probably going to keep my home on the market for 6 to 9 months and drop the price 3 or 4 times? And then in between with Zillow that said it was worth $1.55 million. And I was just like, wow, this is really insane. If this is happening to me, who I've bought and sold homes for 20 plus years, how does the general buyer feel when they are going into an area that they don't really know, and who are they going to trust? How do you build that trust? I couldn't go anywhere, on the internet, through an app, through anything, and see, first off, had these agents ever been in any homes in that area before? Everybody's saying, "Oh, I'm the #1 agent. You know, I'm the best agent in Santa Cruz." But
don't get me on my soapbox about calling yourself #1. That drives me batshit crazy.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there going like, wow, I really don't know who to trust. Finally, I decided, okay, we're going to go with the guy who's got the office that's closest to the property, because that's really the only way I could trust. But I was just started to think, okay, our app has got some justification just from the simple fact that I would know, okay, this guy's checked into 50 homes in the area and he's 97% accurate on his values. At least that would give me a little bit of, of comfort in the fact that he knows what it is he's talking about. But it was really hard, like you guys know, to find which agents out there working every day, which guys hustling, which guys are actually know their market better than other people, and which guys are going to negotiate on my behalf as well as a buyer or a seller. And that's how I think the app's going to transition over time. Is on the buyer side of things, we want to know, are you a great buyer's agent? And if so, how much can you negotiate off of that list price? Or are you a great listing agent? And if so, how close can you get to that actual list price? Right? So those are the things that I think we'll be able to kind of track and quantify over time as well, and say, hey, you're really great at helping buyers. And not that every agent wants to be a buyer's agent. I think everybody kind of aspires to that listing side where they can sit back and build a team and go that direction. But at least we know, okay, you're a great buyer's agent. I really want you to represent me on the purchase of this home, because you're negotiating 6 to 8% off of just about everything that you've ever worked on as a buyer's agent. So those are the things that we're looking to transition to over time. But right now it's just like, okay, we need something to get from point A to point B that gives us that comfort to say, all right, Greg, all right, Matt, you're actually an expert in the area that you work in. So that's kind of in a nutshell what the app does. And again, it's kind of it's a work in progress. We're right now in San Diego, and we're going to roll it out to the rest of California here shortly. And we have an IDX feed in Las Vegas and one in Phoenix. So as we get these IDX feeds and these RETS feeds from different areas, we'll be looking to expand our footprint into different areas as well. But it's we're looking for agents and brokers that really want to stand out in their area, that are going to be those early adopters, that understand that, hey, if you're a Yelp elite, you've got a lot of credibility with the general public, and you've got like these these additional benefits that otherwise people wouldn't get. Or if you're one of the big things is like Foursquare, right? Foursquare was such a big deal for a while, and all people did was get to be a mayor of Mood Time Creamery. So it didn't really benefit them too much at all.
Hey, I take great pride in that title.
That's
Come on now. No, that Matt, was totally me. I don't know how you knew that, but thanks.
You were the mayor. You're the mayor of Starbucks, bud. Let's be honest.
That may in fact be true. If I didn't spread around my Starbucks visitations to so many different locations, I probably would be mayor of one of them. I try to mix it up. So what's the big vision for the app, like long term?
Well, long term, we want to be kind of the transactional platform. We want to have that collaboration that allows the best agents out there to talk with buyers. It's right now it's really a social medium, so it allows people to follow you. So if they want to say, hey, let me see how Matt's doing. He really works well in the Carlsbad area. I want to see all the homes that he's checking into. Hey, I can follow you. I can see what you've done, what you reviewed. If you think a home's a good value, if you think it's just way overpriced. And then I can communicate with you and say, hey, did you really like the backyard? Or can you take a couple pictures of that for me? And it gives you that ability to capture those people by doing your job and doing it well that you never otherwise would. They would have never known that you're there. So that's kind of the point.
Got a question.
It's another opportunity for people to interact with you in a softer way rather than having to request a showing, which is a very committed way to start a contact with an agent.
Exactly.
Are you integrating like Periscope or Meerkat or anything like that potentially into this, or an app? Because I know you're attaching with other social media. So if they want to see a video, could they instantly request, hey, can you go back through your app, and do a live streaming video so they can ask questions, interact right there live time? Exactly.
They can see it. It will be live. I'm not sure what we'll do with Periscope or those types of things, but the next step is right now we have photos that you can take and share. We'll have video shortly where you can take video and share that. So I think it's great that if you walk through a property and case in point was I had a real estate broker who's a friend of mine in Chula Vista drive out to Jamul to show a property, and it was $850,000 home, and she drove 45 minutes to get out there. They got there with her buyer who had never seen the home before except on Zillow, and they look at the home and they're like, this can't be the right home. On the internet it looks fantastic, but this home's torn apart. It's got like $200,000 worth of work. Oh my gosh, why did we waste our day going out to look at this property when it's not worth $850,000. It may be worth $700,000 or $675,000. And it's just, it's not exactly what they're looking for. If somebody else would have been there, they could have asked that question. They could have said, hey, why didn't you like this property? Or you said it's worth $700,000. Why? It's listed at $850,000. But those are the tools that aren't there right now for agents to be able to do. But I think so at some point we'll be able to have on demand. So, hey, I'm really interested in this property. Hey, Matt, can you go out there and take a look at it for me and tell me what you think it's worth?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, one of the things that I lit up, like I was talking about before, is that I was talking about doing what you've already done. We talked about this off air, but I was going to just take like 2 listing sheets, which these are not, use my video camera and compare them so that the general public can get information about the properties in the market. You just took it to a whole nother level. And I'm right there behind you on this one. The marketplace needs something like this. For instance, we always get worried about, agents get worried about giving the right price on a home, because they're like, well, if I tell the actual price sometimes, one, it's the ethical and moral right thing to do. We'll go down that road another day. But if you're competing against Matt Johnson, who religiously overprices properties, because he has to feed his 3 12-pound babies and his wife Julie, naturally.
Of course.
But if the McDaniel Callahan team rides in on the white horse and tries to save the day and give him the right price, but Matt comes in on the black horse and goes, no, don't you dare listen to those guys. They're wrong. I can get you another $75,000 for this house. But then it stays on the market forever and a day. I think your tool will stop allowing that. We actually had a situation about 2 years ago. We literally I found the people cold calling, right? That's hard enough.
Right.
Went out to the appointment, gorgeous home, got the right price. Another agent came in and got the listing because they told him it was $1 million over what we told them. And
wow.
That is an extreme case, but those types of things happen all the time. And naturally, it didn't sell. But that would be amazing if people could access this. And do their reviews on the neighborhoods and the homes. I just really think it's a bonus for both agents and the consumer.
I think so too, and one of the residual effects that I think people will really start to get too is, there's a lot of tools out there like Showing Time and Showing Suite and things like that allow listing agents to give feedback to the seller, but those things are pay to play. They're $50 a month or whatever, and they're really, at least in our area in San Diego, when we were using them, they didn't get much use. The agents may respond 5% of the time. They may respond a little bit, but you never get true feedback from them because they have all looked at 10 homes that day and they don't even remember what it was that they were looking at.
Yeah.
This is going to give them instant feedback. So if I'm a seller, I actually want everybody who's coming through my home to give me feedback. Download the app, tell me what they think, tell me how much they think it's worth. Because just like in your case, Greg, it was like, he overpriced it by $1 million or $500,000 or whatever. If everybody's telling me, no, this is not $1 million home, this thing's worth $750,000, I want to know that, as the seller. I don't want some listing agent coming in and stealing the listing because they told me what it is that I wanted to hear. I want them to be able to market my property and sell it for how much it's worth, but don't lie to me. Don't tell me things that I want to hear just so that they can get a commission.
Oh, I thank you for building this. You've made my life.
Well, the cool thing is it gives a concrete, almost like a gamification incentive to people to leave feedback for agents specifically, which is that is the hard part. You're getting horrible response rates on agents. Even if you pick up the phone and call them, you're lucky to actually get them to pick up the phone and tell you what they thought of the house, let alone if they showed 10, they just may legitimately not remember. But it is interesting, like from an agent's perspective, there's an incentive for you to check into every home for your own credibility and then to take a shot at what you think the best list price is, because then you can boost your own credibility. It gives them this extra layer of incentive to actually do their job.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think what we'll end up doing is how Yelp Elite works right now and how people are competing and adding stuff like that. We'll probably have something similar like a HomeBuzz Elite type of category where you can go in and you can put in a zip code, 92111, and you can see, okay, these are the 3 people that actually have checked into the most homes and are the most accurate in this area, and allow them to get that additional marketing credibility and be able to compete on that level where typical real estate agents couldn't, because they either haven't they haven't done their job that well, or they're just not they're not up to par. And what we want to do is also too, me being in the real estate industry, bring the playing field up a notch, right? Let's let's do the 80-20 rule. Let's keep the 20% that are out there doing their job. The Matts and the Gregs of the world that are really hustling. Okay, let's get you out there. Let's get more sales from it. Let's make it work, and let's figure out how it's going to work best for you as the agent, but also on the client side. My whole goal is to say, I'm a real estate broker as well. I'd love for you to come back and say, hey, Kristian, I was using your app. I checked into a home. Hey, this buyer contacted me and they put in an offer. That's awesome. You made a sale because of it. Fantastic. You didn't have to do anything other than your job. So, that's what I'm really looking at.
That's huge, man. I mean, and the reason why Matt and I started this podcast, one of the reasons I might say, is that I was very tired of watching agents, take good clients or good buyers or sellers and misrepresent their interests because they just didn't know what they were doing. So you're on the same path for higher ethics and higher business standards by showing the general public what there is to see, and taking that veil away. So.
I was listening to I don't know if you caught this one the other day, Greg, but what was it? I think it was I Love Marketing with Joe Polish. He was interviewing Vern Harnish. He's the guy that wrote Scaling Up. You ever heard of that guy?
I have now.
Okay. Buy that book, by the way, Scaling Up. Anyway, Vernon Harnish said that I think he was quoting Buckminster Fuller, who said that it's easier to change people's behavior, not by trying to get them to change, but by giving them a tool that changes their behavior. And that's kind of what this app would be. If people actually use it, something that will change their behavior, get more feedback, and more transparency, I guess, in the real estate industry in general, which is great for everybody. Maybe not so great for the percentage of real estate agents that suck and don't want to improve, but for everybody that wants to do a good job, it's fantastic because the cream rises to the top.
Exactly, and we're really trying to make it kind of that game as well, so that we have a leaderboard involved, and that was one of the things that we got feedback from David Romero, who's the owner of Century 21 Award. It's the largest Century 21 franchise here in Southern California. He said, Kristian, if you can build something that makes a game out of the real estate agent's job, what it is that they typically do on a day-to-day basis, that would be incredible. I mean, that hits that would hit such a good sweet spot that nobody's been able to do. You've got coaches that are out there saying, hey, get on the phone for an hour and then go door knock and go do this and but none of that stuff is quantifiable. It's not, you can't say, oh, you did all this, here's your gold star at the end of the day. But this is going to give you that credibility to say, oh yeah, I have done it, here it is. It's completely quantifiable, and also too, look, I'm number 2 on the leaderboard when it comes to homes sold in Carlsbad, or check-ins, or photos taken, or all the things that you can quantify from that. So yeah, making that game out of it, making it fun, and making it enjoyable, and then hopefully, like I said, the end game is to have the people that are good at what it is that they do rise to the top and get more sales because of it. That's what we're all trying to do, is be the best at, the best we possibly can be.
Cool. Well, I wanted to give you a chance real quick to talk about kind of how, as an agent, and if you're one of the early adopters, whether it's a broker at the broker level or at the agent level, starts using the app. So when you're going into a listing presentation with a potential seller client, what are some of the ways you can use this to separate yourself and prove that you have actually the credibility to get their home sold?
Right. So when you go into a listing presentation, you can open up your profile and you can actually show your credentials. You can say, look, I've checked into 400 homes, I've reviewed 380 of them, I'm 97.6% accurate, and by the way, here are some of the reviews in your neighborhood. You can open up your past reviews, open up the zip code that you're in, show them, okay, look, I've checked into these 16 homes. Hey, this one's just one block over from you. Hey, I said it was going to sell for $700,000, it sold for $700,000. Wow, here's my review of it. Here's, everything about it whatsoever. I think we can do similar things with your home, and like we were talking about ahead of time, right? When you have a client who says, well, I don't see your sign too much in the neighborhood. Well, here's a tool that's going to give you that ability to say, you know what, I've been in every home in your neighborhood. I know your neighborhood better than anybody else. You don't want to hire Prudential, or you don't want to hire, a KW agent. You want to hire the best agent, and that's me. I've checked into all these homes. So I think that's where the keys lie, is that as long as you can quantify that, because like we talked about, every agent says, oh, I'm the best. But there's no way right now for them to quantify that. And what we're also going to have as well is a widget we're coming out with, which should be available hopefully in the beginning of January, that allows you to embed it right onto your website. And then when somebody clicks on it, it'll pull up the map of all the places that you've checked into and all the reviews that you've written. So another way for you to be able to demonstrate, hey, look, I've been to all these homes, I've seen all these homes, and I'm great. Look at how accurate I am. So,
look at me over here. I am amazing.
Yeah.
And I have proof.
Well, agents all want to say, hey, look, I'm the best. But this at least gives them a playing field, if you will, a game to say, all right, look, I am the best, or I'm second best. I want to get to be the best. Let me go check into 10 homes today. Let me do some more, accurate analysis. Let me do all the things that I need to do. So hopefully that'll give you the extra boost that you need when you're sitting in front of a seller, and give you that value proposition. Just like you guys were talking about in the last episode, what's your value proposition to this person? How are you going to add that extra added value that nobody else will? Here's an extra tool to say, hey, has anybody else popped this out and showed it to you? I'm the only one? Oh, let me show you exactly what I've done. And just that alone may give them the extra comfortable feeling that, hey, you do know what it is you're talking about. You are better than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants the neighborhood expert. We can fight that all you want, and there's objection handlers for that, but it'd be a lot easier just to prove that you're the neighborhood expert.
Exactly.
And it also gives you the opportunity to get your ass out the door. Most agents think that, if I stay in my desk and I look at that phone hard enough, it's going to ring, and it's going to be a buyer, or a seller. It's not going to work because you can leverage your time out there. So let's say you go see 10 homes. That's a lot of work, by the way. But but you ain't got shit else to do. Why not, right? Then go out there, take photos of the different aspects of the homes. Take those, put those both up onto HomeBuzz. Then put them out to Instagram, and then retweet them so you can get more traction on this. Because I know that Kristian, you were saying that this your app can link out to the other social networks, right?
Right. Yeah. The shareability of it's huge.
So unpack that a little bit and kind of explain what your thought patterns were on kind of what you're seeing, or if you have agents using it already, or what you kind of anticipate them using the shareability with.
Sure, definitely. I mean, I think when you walk into a home, if you walk into a great home that you saw and maybe your buyer's not interested in it, you could just write a quick review and say, hey, this is an amazing home. If you're interested in this area, this home's priced at $300,000, but it's easily worth $325,000. And then share that on Facebook and give yourself that credibility of, hey, I was just at this home and I checked into it and I know it's a great deal, and contact me if you want me to write an offer for you because it's going to be gone tomorrow. Giving the consumer something that they otherwise wouldn't have. Same thing. If you go to a home, and we've all been to listings before where the agent took horrible photos, right? And you're like, oh my God.
I don't believe that for a second.
There's kids in the photos, and there's plates on the counter. Yeah, there's dirty laundry, exactly. But people want to see things too that they otherwise wouldn't have seen, and I don't think that a lot of times photographers don't take pictures of the backyard or the view. Mm-hmm. Or whatever else there is that home has that's going to sell it that otherwise people wouldn't know about, and say, hey, you know what? I didn't even know this area had a view of the mountains. Take a look at this, and somebody who may be looking for that or has that and says, wow, this is nice, it's something I wanted, is going to contact you because you brought that to their attention. And you can share that on Instagram, and you can tweet it out, and you can give yourself that credibility that, yeah, I was at this home, I got a chance to demonstrate that, yes, this home is desirable, and look, contact me if you want some more information. And right now, I mean, is there a tool that you guys use at all that allows you to kind of go out and do that on a daily basis?
No, and I've looked. I've really looked. So basically what you're doing is you're storytelling.
Right.
You're telling them the story of the property, because that's what Matt has drilled into my head more than once. The younger millennials want storytelling. They want content. They don't want to see Bob Jones, #1 real estate agent in San Diego, on the park bench or bus bench or whatever else. So I think that's actually really, I didn't know you could do all that stuff. So that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, creating quality content and curating the content, I think, is a big deal, because all these sites are going to push out data to people. Realtor.com is going to push out data to you, and that's just listing agent sending out marketing information. They're taking whatever it is and they're pushing it to you. There's no two-way communication, and really what HomeBuzz is allowing people to do is to have that two-way communication. Be able to say, oh, you were in that house. What'd you like? Oh, what'd you not like? Do you really think it's worth that? No. Okay. Why not? Or why? And you get a chance to collaborate right then and there, rather than have to guess. I hated the fact that if a home was on the market for 4 months, did you ever know if somebody had ever been in that home? You know, it was like, it's impossible for you to tell. You know, it's impossible for the general public to tell. Why has it been on the market? Has it fallen out of escrow twice? What's the problem? You know,
It's really the stuff that the MLSs across the country should be doing. This is the kind of information the public wants. They're not providing it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get something. So if you can step in and create a way that the agents themselves can create that information, get that out there with an incentive, it's fantastic. But I mean, realistically, it'd be nice if the MLS just was more transparent.
It'd be wonderful if the MLS did a lot of things, like a mapping solution that you can just map your way to a home. That'd be awesome.
All right, Kristian. So I have, I know you got to run here in about a little over 10 minutes, so we don't want to keep you from another appointment. But I do have one selfish question, and then maybe we'll take another question from the Facebook group before we call it a day. Just on your way up to building what at the time was, you said the #1 KW team in the nation or the world?
And then, well, I guess at that time in the world, yeah. We were only in North America. Yeah.
First of all, that's insane. So what was your biggest challenge? Obviously, you ramped up very, very big in a very short period of time. What was your biggest hurdle to scaling up that team to handle that growth?
The biggest hurdle that I had was the simple fact that we had to put processes in place that typical real estate agents didn't like. So we were fighting that battle. You know, we were swimming upstream. I mean, everybody wants to call you, and for whatever reason, you know, they've always been ingrained that, okay, I'm going to call you, the listing agent, and find out, are there any offers? You know, or I'm going to submit an offer. You know, so they always wanted to call, and we were getting on the range of 2,000 phone calls a day, and I had 3 full-time receptionists. You know, I had 3 full-time receptionists trying to answer calls. You know, and we found out typically that it was always one of 2 questions, right? Is the property available? And I'm submitting an offer. And all we would do is get those calls over and over and over again. But I had to deal with staffing my team to hopefully handle the majority of those calls. Finally, we said, okay, enough of this. Everybody needs to ask via email. And it was hard and it was horrible, but we had meetings at our board of realtors, at the Pacific Southwest board, and we sat down and said, hey, we have 600 property listings right now. We get 2,000 phone calls a day. We can't deal with this anymore. If you guys want an answer and it's something that something that's legitimate, feel free to email us and we'll answer it within 24 hours. But if you've got an offer, submit the offer. If you've got, something that you need, let us know. But we also too had to automate everything. At that point, people were faxing stuff still. This was 2006, 2007.
The high-tech era.
You're right. So we said no more faxes, and that really pissed people off, right? No more faxes. How are we supposed to get you the offer? So we're like, well, you take your offer, you go down to Kinko's, you scan it in, and then you email it to us. And they're like, really? I got to go to Kinko's and scan it in? Oh my God! This is such a pain in the butt. 10 years later, of course, it's the norm now to go to, email anything and offer it over to anybody. But we were kind of pulling those original teeth and trying to, set those processes in place so that we could be more efficient and so that we could handle more volume. But yeah, nobody ever teaches you, you're going to have, we had 3 full-time people that were just sifting through our offers and responding to them. So their whole job was to conglomerate, 10 to 15 offers on a property, submit them into our client's portal. At that time it may be Fannie Mae, it may be Freddie Mac, it may be Bank of America, and then we wait for a response, right? Which is always fun because then you've got agents that are calling you and emailing you going, I submitted an offer two hours ago, where's my response? It's going to take 3 to 5 days for us to get a response back, and usually it was a counter offer and it was highest and best to everybody, and then they're like, oh, highest and best, what does that mean? How are we going to get the property? So it was always trying to set those expectations and manage all those but nobody ever told me too that I was going to have 52 people on my team.
Whoa.
And so it was quite a huge amount of time and effort and hiring and firing and all the things that you don't think you're going to get when you get an agent. When you start off as an agent, you're like, oh, this is great, I can go sell a home, I can go list a home, I can do this all in my spare time and it's going to be fun. And but nobody ever said, oh yeah, we're really ramping up so that we can sell 800 homes a year or 1,000 homes a year. So that was always one of the challenges, was trying to get that agent mentality off of this is the way things have always been done to this is the most efficient way that you can do something. And we're seeing it now, much more in 2015, now 2016 than we were back in 2007, 2008, is that people are being more conscious of their time. You know, they're texting you rather than calling, or they're emailing you rather than, you know, having to go through and spend that 30 minutes on the phone explaining to somebody something. You can answer it in your free time, and you can get back to them, you know, efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, behavior change, not an easy thing under any circumstance, but in industry-wide, and especially in an industry as old and ingrained as real estate, I do not envy you. That must have been, I don't know how you have any hair left is a marvel.
52 people on the team, delegation.
Yeah, that's an insane. I mean, that's one of the guys we work with. We've had him on the show here, Jeff Cohen. He has a team of, I want to say 38, 39 with support staff. We're running 500 to 600 homes a year. I mean, you're selling double that with roughly the same number of people. I mean, that's an insane level of productivity per team, you know, team member. The number of people on your team is just insane.
A lot of work.
Yeah, really crazy. We also used a lot of virtual assistants too. We had about 11 virtual assistants at one point. So, you know, it was kind of trying to be efficient because, you know, we were hiring people and spending $10 to $15 an hour in the U.S. where we could get the same person for $5 an hour, in, you know, in the Philippines or in Mexico.
Right.
Yeah. Yep, I was just yelling at Greg today. Systems, and processes. For God's sake. That's
and I have no problem with systems as long as I don't have to build them.
Yeah, that's what I was just...
or ever use them, or
know what they are.
Exactly. Yeah. See, I have no problem with this, Matt. So we've settled.
So before we sign off, I know we got to let you go, Kristian. What's the best way for people to download and start using the app?
They can go to the App Store, so they can go to iTunes or they can go to Google Play, download it. Start using it, giving us feedback. Like I said, we're in a few markets right now. If you really want to start using it, I know that we need to get up to the Bay Area. You know, with you, Greg, it's like, you know, just let us know if we can get an IDX feed in your area. We're probably going to bring on Denver fairly shortly, and Seattle. We're looking at a couple of other big markets, Houston as well. But if you're a broker owner in a different area and you really want to start using the app, just let us know. Once we get that IDX feed, you'll be up and running.
I am going to make a very concerted effort, and I'm not kidding around at all on this. I really do want to get this in my marketplace. I do have connections at two of the major boards here, and I will do everything I can to get you in as soon as possible.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Hey,
very cool.
It's truly my pleasure. Believe me.
Yep. Separate yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. And then just wanted to encourage people. Also, you can find out more information about the app at, I believe it's homebuzz.net.
HomeBuzz.info.
That's right. I knew it wasn't .com. So, okay. So with that said, give a couple more shout outs just to Viral Marketing real quick. Go to check them out at gettoviral.com, and then Equity with 2 Qs. That is the online buyer lead generation platform built from the ground up for solo agents. So check that out. If you're interested in getting on board with that type of platform, take the McDaniel Challenge. Get a hold of Greg. And Greg, what's the McDaniel Challenge again?
It's called Matt Johnson on his cell phone. Yeah.
I was not aware of that. That was a recent change.
It is, and I know you're ecstatic.
Yeah.
So no, the real number is, guys, my cell phone. If you didn't catch it in the beginning, or if you're running or in the shower or something like that, something fun and exciting. Best number is 925 915, and then the year 1978. So 925 915 1978. Hashtag Don't Let Greg Spend a Night Alone. Call me. Let's get you on the books for 2016. Let's hammer out any issues that's stopping you or preventing you becoming a better agent, and crush the leader in your marketplace. And if you are the leader, stay the leader. So I don't swing to one side or the other. I'm right down the middle. Yeah, guys, go ahead. And by the way, Matt and I just checked our YouTube channel. We are at 783 subscribers right now. You guys are amazing. This is a fan art created. It's run for you and by you. So please keep on coming, guys. We love you. We really appreciate your support, and we really want to see you succeed. So thank you. Tell a friend. Let's make 2016 amazing together on the show.
That's right. And so far, I believe this is going to be the last episode of the year. So
well, that's because you won't let me shoot tomorrow.
That's right. I'm not letting you shoot tomorrow.
That's why. I'm like, hey, Matt.
So, Kristian, thank you very, very much for being the final guest of 2015 on Real Estate Uncensored.
Happy New Year, guys.
That's right. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next year and on the next episode.
Thank you, guys. See ya.